It's not. Yeah, I just felt like shit when I was smoking cigarettes, man. It was, it
Just being
makes you smell
stinky.
gross. Yeah, you coughing all the time and shit. It's expensive. Fuck, it's expensive, especially nowadays. Holy shit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I
Yearning for
think
the good old days. Here we go again. Cheap cigarettes and cheap beer.
cheap cigarettes, cheap beer. Give
Even
me
the cost of
fucking.
hookers went up.
Hello. Welcome back to Time Well Meant, the podcast where we're not having a hard time with depression. Depression is having a hard time with us. If it's your first time joining us, or if you're coming back and returning to watch us or listen to us, or however you're absorbing this, we like to talk about the goings-ons of the internet. We like to talk about gaming, and most importantly, we wrap that all back around to mental health. I am Silas, and I am joined, as always, by just a masterpiece of a man. Kirby, how are you today?
Dude, every episode I wonder like what ridiculous intro is he gonna give me this week? That's why I try to do the intro. I'm just not good at it like you are. I don't have the skills that you have there.
I'm slowly but surely just prying open your heart, crawling inside. That's what I'm doing to implant myself forever.
I'm okay with it.
Hell yeah, man. Let me tell you, this has been it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Obviously, again, if you're just now joining us, if it's your first time here, do this every 2 weeks. So it's weird because we go through these periods of, there's a lot that goes on the internet. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that happens, and we don't talk about it, right as it happens. We kind of just get to wrap everything up, sort of every other week. So man, there's just been a lot that's been going on. But the one thing that I need to tell you this because we just need to start with this. Okay. The Talk Tuah girl started a podcast. Did you hear about this?
I've seen a bunch of clips. I thought she was like on a podcast and there was a million clips going around.
She's
Started a
starting
podcast.
a podcast. And let me tell you, that's really unimportant because the only podcast that she needs to come on is this one.
I mean, we had to have been. We probably weren't the first podcast to extend the invitation. One of the early ones.
We were
one of the most foolhardy ones. That's for sure.
we came into it with a lot of confidence. That's for sure. But no, it's funny because I will say, whoever's on her marketing team or whoever's doing the marketing for her, super smart. So have you heard the name of the podcast? This is really the only thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, tell me the name of my new competition. I used to love this woman, but now she is my enemy.
So it's called the Talk Tuah podcast.
Oh,
it's so good, dude. Isn't that crazy? Dude, like she's paying top dollar for her marketing team.
Dude, that's so good. That's stupid good.
I don't know what it is, man. Like it is otherworldly how impressive that is.
Everything about her, honestly. Everything about that woman. I mean, she just came out of nowhere.
That's true. Just a
drunken bar night. Next thing you know, she's an internet celebrity and she's capitalized.
She is. She really is. Capitalized. There's plenty of people, there's the Catch Me Outside girl. She's kind of one of the other girls I think about that kind of capitalized on like 15 minutes of success that she went on to do like a fairly successful music career.
I mean, I know she's got a lot of money now.
She had the OnlyFans thing, yeah.
For some reason, that one doesn't feel as wholesome as Talk Tuah, even though I guess Talk Tuah is not a wholesome thing.
Really, I mean, it's wholesome.
It all started with the most like unwholesome thing. Crazy world, crazy times, man. Could you imagine, like, I think about when I was a kid and my grandmother caught me listening to the Eminem album. It was like the first or second album. Threw a fit, took the CD away, grounded me, everything else. And now fucking every boomer in America is going, oh, Talk Tuah, right? You see that video?
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Times have definitely changed in terms of what we can view as appropriate. Because there's definitely, I mean, shit, man. Just looking at like the internet, and I watched a video recently about shock sites, things like Run the Gauntlet or Oh, I can't think of any of the other ones off the top of my head right now. But or like Rotten.com, I think is another one that was out there. I think got shut down like in 2019 or something like that. But you have a lot of these sites that people like you and I, our generation, grew up on. And whereas now people can just scroll on Twitter and watch people die. Like it's crazy. Or you could just find sex, on Twitter. Like you could just do whatever you want. The internet is people like to say, oh, that it's, tamed down a little bit or it's not as crazy as it used to be. No, it's still the fucking Wild West out here.
I mean, sort of. Twitter, as we've talked about earlier on this show, is just a black hole. I mean,
yeah.
If you scroll through your Twitter feed, you're going to see 2 OnlyFans girls, somebody dying, some, right-wing propaganda or something.
Yeah.
It's just, that one's really rough. But I mean, I think back to like, there was a subreddit, I'm pretty sure it was Watch People Die or Watching People Die, something like that. And that got removed. So then there's just like an offshoot of it that's a little more tame, is my understanding. I don't frequent that too much, try to keep my sanity in check.
Jesus. And it's funny too. I guess it's not really funny. It's just interesting to think about the fact that you think about you watch, I don't know if you ever got around to watching the BME Pain Olympics, 2 girls, 1 cup, 1 guy, 1 horse, like all these other fucked up shock videos.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we grew up, being in our late teens, early 20s, or however old we were. I think I was like 15 when I watched 2 Girls, 1 Cup or some shit.
I had to have been very early.
We were in high school. I remember I was in high school at least. And you're a year older than me. So
you too, yeah.
So you would have been, we were kids watching that shit.
There was something almost magical about it at that time. Like, this is the craziest, dirtiest. We shouldn't be watching this. This thing is explicit and terrible, and I'm going to feast my eyes upon it.
True.
It felt like with those specific things you were just listing. Whereas if you're just scrolling through Twitter and you see tits, ass, somebody die, tits, ass, somebody die, repeat.
Yeah.
You said it the best. We're just so desensitized to these things.
Yeah.
But then kids are growing up with it, man. That's
it is interesting. And this is why, it's one thing, if somebody online, manipulates somebody else online, that's one thing. But I think that there comes a point in time where you have to be a parent to your child, right? You have to monitor what your kids are doing. Like, Lord knows that my fucking 100%. Parents didn't know what the fuck was going on. The only way that I got caught was by being stupid. Once I smartened up and knew how to not get caught, they weren't monitored. They weren't, walking into my room and being like, hey, what are you doing? Or looking through my computer. No, they just all right, well.
All right, so my first getting in trouble was just straight up Googling boobs, and then Grandma comes to search something later.
I have an extremely similar story of I was at least getting caught on the computer. So I got caught 2 times that I can remember as a really little kid. One was with my cousin, and same thing, looking at boobs. And the way that we tried to cover it up, because we realized it's in the search history. Oh shit, we gotta when you type B in Google, boobs comes up. This is really bad. And so we were like, well, this is what we'll do. We'll just fill up the search history.
Flood it. Yeah.
With O's. And so we're like, oh, enter. And then we go back, oh, enter. And then just, ooh. And we're done. We're so smart.
So your mom came to the computer the next day and went to search for a local bakery and just saw boo.
Well, my cousin and I were little troublemakers, so she knew that we were probably going to get into some shit. And yeah, she found out immediately. It was not even there was no. She found us immediately. My mom was smart. She knew what was up. And it's not like we got super reprimanded or in really big trouble. It was just hey, it's probably not good for you to do this, and let's talk about, let's have the talk. And I was like, I don't have the fucking talk. And anyways, it was just, God.
With my dad, it was pretty much just seems like you already know what it is. Don't get anyone pregnant. Have a good day. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, no, dude, my parents were very. I think because both my parents were in the medical profession. They were very here's books and resources, and let's sit down and talk about this sort of thing.
Here's a diagram.
Yeah. And a lot of it too was how to, make sure that you're respecting your partner or whatever, make sure that you're, treating whoever you're with right and things like that. And, obviously use protection, all that sort of shit. So
that was
the whole point
of every talk I ever got. Use protection.
Yeah. that was.
And then I had a kid at 21. Hey,
Well,
oh.
it's better than having a kid at like 15,
True.
16. So
True,
having a
true.
kid in high school, because I remember going through high school and walking around and watching pregnant people, and I'm like, dude, it's our like we're graduating and you're gonna have a
Mm.
baby immediately, or like
Can't walk the
you're
stage because you're all prego.
yeah, or like you're 2 grades below me and you're pregnant. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Yeah.
I explicitly remember there
Yes.
was 2 girls I was friends with in high school, and it was 2 girls, and they got pregnant, and it's crazy to see how life is different now for different
Yeah.
people and different people with different experiences.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And there's nothing wrong with having a kid young, and there's some people
Oh,
who,
of course not. No, of course not. It's just a whole different set of challenges.
It is, it is. I it's funny because I had a friend of mine in high school, and he would brag about him and his girlfriend was like, yeah, we're doing it, and then we'd go to the shower, do it some more, and then we'd get out of the shower, do it, and I'm
Uh-oh.
like, hey, that's awesome, man. And like, yeah, 3-4 months later, he
Wasn't bragging then,
showed
was
up.
he?
Yeah, he showed up. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, damn. Okay. And the last time that I saw him, the last time I saw him at school, because I think he dropped out just because he had to work. He's like, he had to support his family. The last time that I saw him, he was carrying his kid around, and I like got to see his kid. I was like, that's really cool. Good, good luck, man. Never saw him again. Hope he's doing well, man. But oh yeah, it's a whole different set of circumstances, and it's a fucking challenge, man. But I think that also kind of goes back into what you teach your kids, what you teach, not that I am a, pinnacle of like, parental advice, but I think that it's an important thing, especially in
Yeah,
the capacity of the internet.
we definitely got really sidetracked there, but
We
I believe
did,
this
yeah.
all stemmed with you talking about those gross videos we used to watch coming up, and then
The parenthood.
Yeah, well, you said, you got to monitor your kids, and man, it's crazy. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I had to install like an app on my son's phone, so if
Yeah.
certain words are sent to him or he sends them, it like it gives me an alert, and like 99 times out of 100 when I'm getting these alerts, it's his friends, and I'm like, man, these kids are like they're the same age as you. Their parents let them just cuss up a storm like this, kind of crazy, man. And then I mean, what? I'm not gonna call these kids parents. That's fucking awkward. What am I supposed to do about it?
Yeah.
Wild
It's
world.
definitely. I feel like it's a different age too, where like I think younger
How
and
old?
younger kids. Go ahead.
How old were you when you would say you really started like cursing?
Oh, cursing? I was like, I remember being on the back of the bus in like elementary school saying bad words, but it was like, ooh, I'm not supposed to say these, right? But
Just
but I
the way you phrase that. I was saying bad words in
I
the back of
saying
the
bad
bus.
words, dude. I was a bad kid. No, but I didn't start like cussing regularly until probably middle school. Like I'd say like 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade. Yeah.
I very vividly remember not until probably middle school, 6th or 7th grade. I was like,
Okay.
my parents will kill me. I could never say a bad word. So it just blows my mind to see kids. I mean, that's
Yeah, some
around the
parents just
same
don't give a
age.
shit.
Yeah, I know. Some just really don't, and that's okay.
Yeah, parent your kids however you want them.
Whatever you want.
There's definitely different schools for parenting, and I'm not the one to fucking teach anybody or go into it. You have your way of raising your son, and
I think overall I do a generally good job. Not to
yeah.
toot my own
Oh,
horn. He's a
your
pretty
son's
cool
great.
kid. But yeah, man, it's just like a little bit of a shock to see, I guess, the way I was raised, and then to see how my friends when I was his age were being raised and parented versus what I'm seeing now. I guess it's
Yeah.
really just my way of saying, hey, I'm getting old and get off my lawn, basically.
Yeah. I was gonna say that you're sounding very boomerish with like, I
Yeah.
can't believe how these kids are being raised these days.
Yeah, I can't believe a whole generation wasted. Send them to war.
Oh God, yeah, it is very insane. And like the games, I always think too, like I've been playing a shitload of Deadlock, but still I've been playing,
Oh, I
I've
know.
played, yeah, I'll get into that a little later. But I've still also been playing, like I've been playing Fortnite with TJ and them, and we've talked before about how, man, kids are just getting so, it's such a different environment, but also a different way of, approaching parenting, but also a different way of like how people, or how I guess kids are getting to approach the internet and like social interaction, which is always so interesting to me. I definitely like I made all my friends at school. I up until it wasn't until I was like, man, I was 18, 19 when I started like actually making internet friends because that's when I had my own computer. Like before then, the only computer access I had was like, either a family computer or sometimes my, if my brother was visiting, he'd bring his computer. I got to use that. I think my mom at one point had a laptop that I got to, use and like watch anime on for a while. But beyond that, like I didn't have a computer till I was like 18.
Yeah, we had the same. We had that old Windows. Dude, it started out. I remember vividly getting a Windows 98 that sat in our like dining room.
Yeah.
But dude, I only had dial-up internet until I think I was like 16.
Shit.
I lived out in the country, so that was all we had, man. Dial-up.
Yeah.
There was a select few games back then that would still like had the functionality if you were on dial-up, but it was Halo 3. That was the first game I ever got to really get online and play multiplayer.
Damn.
And then shortly after that, it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I would say that's when I started making internet friends that I still have to this day.
Yeah. I attribute a lot of that to, or a lot of my friends that I made to Jesse. And like him kind of bringing me on to hi Jesse, him introducing me to the world of online gaming. Like he got me into like Mabinogi, and that got me hooked on just PC gaming in general. And then of course, he introduced me to you and fucking Taylor, and then it all just snowballed from there.
All downhill from there.
Yeah, holy shit. And it's just really interesting to see how it's so much different for kids these days, because it feels like nowadays, and I could be wrong about this, at least this is from kind of an outside perspective, it feels like the younger generations are making more friends online versus being in like outside spaces or like going and like obviously you have your friends from school, or you have people that you interact with from school, and in those sorts of spaces. But like, because one of the things that I know that I've read about is the fact that there's not as many like communal places for the younger generations to go to. There's not as many, like you used to have like you'd go to the mall, whereas now a bunch of malls are like shutting down. They're going bankrupt and things like that.
The skate park was big for me.
Yeah, skate parks. The things that just aren't getting the correct funding either from cities, or they're just online shopping has kind of shut down a lot of like different types of shopping and things.
I had this thought just really recently. It kind of goes in exactly what you're saying. How things are just different. When I was younger, I didn't have all the games and access to my friends. So it's like, I'm bored. I'm going to go ride my bike. Yeah. Well, I'm bored with riding my bike. I don't have anything else to do. I guess I'll ride my bike more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whereas now there was a day just recently where my son I was like, get off of fucking games. Like you've been staring at a screen all day, whatever, go outside and play. He goes outside for like 10 minutes and he's like, dude, it's so hot. I look, it's like 105 outside. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I can't really, no, back outside, boy.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, I used to, I remember being like, I don't know how old I was. I had to have been like second or third, no, even like first or second grade, and just going out and playing in my cul-de-sac, man, just like walking outside. And now you have all these fucking documentaries and all these, news shit where it's like, hey, don't let your kids go outside alone. Like they're gonna fucking get scooped up, and you're never gonna see them again. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Has it always been this bad, or is it just something
is it just more televised now? Is it
more, we see it more.
Available.
It's more presented in front of our faces,
and also
like
because of the way our media kind of works, it's going to be
fear mongering,
extreme. Fear mongering.
Always the extreme.
Wait, so you grew up on a cul-de-sac too?
So I moved around a lot. I moved around a ton. When I lived in my hometown for probably 6 or 7 years, and then we moved to the Austin area, and then we moved from there up to Fort Worth, and then I moved back to my hometown, and then I moved back to Fort Worth, and or like the DFW area, right? Because I kind of lived all around, at least in Texas, and yeah, at one point, some of my best memories, some of my favorite memories are for about a 3-year period I lived on a cul-de-sac during like the early days of elementary.
I lived on this long street that it wasn't like a technical cul-de-sac, but it was you entered one way and exited one way on the street, but then it went to the end and it did like a loop back to itself. So basically like a P.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
Man, just riding around the area, getting in trouble with the other kids, fucking with shit, doing stupid stuff.
Doing stupid stuff.
Scraping my knees off on skateboards, going down the big hill,
Yeah. I definitely, yeah, I was riding my bike all around and just, yeah, fucking around. And, yeah, man, the thing about it was too is I was always kind of I was bullied like all throughout school, right? And so that kind of made me like a pretty introverted kid. Like I really didn't have any like, I didn't really find myself until after high school. Like that's when I kind of, the charisma kind of caught on, and like I, figured shit out a little bit better.
Started
Um,
developing that Riz.
yeah, somehow I don't know, but the throughout like the early days, a lot of what I ended up doing was just like playing video games. Like I would, I did go outside and I did, try and hang around, play with kids, and like walk around town or whatever. Like especially when I lived in my hometown and I knew, like where my family lived and I could walk to their house or whatever. But I, for the most part, like I would stay home and play video games. Like I would play, on my GameCube, or like, let's start out with my like Nintendo 64, and then it moved to my GameCube. PS2. I had a PS3. I had the old 80 gig PS3 when it first came out, when it
Got
first
the
launched.
big, huge, fat one that was like $600.
Yeah, I had that, and then I had an Xbox 360 at one point, and that after the 360, I didn't really have any other consoles. That was the last like real console that I had. Oh, I had a Switch, I guess, if you want to count that. But
It counts
yeah,
and it
after that,
doesn't. It does and it doesn't.
yeah. But after the 360, like I really didn't have any other consoles. I finally, that was around the time when I finally got a PC, and I was able to use that and actually play something other than like console games, and that I never went back. I remember specifically having the argument about console being better than PC and how fucking wrong I was. I was like 18 when I had that argument with somebody. How
Damn, late
stupid was
bloomer.
I? Yeah.
Dude, when I was maybe 10-ish, I don't remember exactly. My dad had a friend who came to like live at his house for like a month or two because he was going through some shit, and he brought his gaming computer, and I got introduced to Battlefield 1942.
Oh
And I
man,
knew from
yeah,
that moment I was like, PC's the shit, dude. I was telling all the kids at school, this game is nutty.
yeah. My
And then it was
brother, yeah.
actually Battlefield 2 came out, and that was when I begged and begged and begged my grandma to either buy me a gaming PC or help me like build one. And that was when I ended up like building my first computer and learning how to
Oh
build my
shit.
computer, which kind
How
of snowballed, launched into everything.
how old were you for this?
What year did Battlefield 2 come out? I want to
Okay.
say I would have been 12, 13 maybe.
Damn. So you got into it pretty early. Because you say my brother played the Battlefield games, and
Battlefield's
I had no idea. Like I remember him showing me, and I was like, "This is so crazy. How do you do this?" And I was so terrible trying to do like the keys and the mouse, and I was just like, I don't know how the fuck this goes and how this works. But I just remember him because he went up and visited my sister, and he brought his computer with him. He drove down from he was living in Washington at the time. He drove back down to Texas, and I just put he sat me down. I was like, here, why don't you play? And he was like, I'm gonna go to bed, so good luck. I was up to like 2 a.m. playing Battlefield. I was like, this is the coolest shit. The
yes.
vehicles, and oh man.
Dude, and that was also when that guy came and introduced me to this. Like I told you, we lived in the country. We had dial-up internet. Just
Oh
bot
man.
matches, baby. Dude, I built a computer to play Battlefield 2 to play with the bots.
Damn.
Man, the other thing I was gonna tell you that was really funny is like when I was begging my grandma I need a computer, I remember like she bought me Battlefield, and I tried to install it on the family computer. It was not happening. So
Yeah.
we ended up like through my cousin, our buddy Chris.
Oh
And
yeah.
I call him, and I remember, dude, I'm a little kid, and I'm like, it says that I need 2 GBs and I only have one. Like that's how it all started for me, man.
Damn man. What a wild, yeah. What
Good
a
times.
good
Good
times.
times.
Good times.
Battlefield
Yeah.
2 was the tits, man.
Hell yeah.
It's
It's
the only
crazy
one that
how.
I don't know how to play. Like I don't know if there's any modern version unless you just straight pirate it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could maybe emulate it, or I bet if you found the physical disc.
We don't. No,
Well,
no emulation. No, no, no. It's
you're right.
Nintendo
You're
don't
right.
DMCA.
You probably played on Linux or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's probably a
definitely.
way
You can
to.
play anything on Linux.
Yeah, hell yeah. Um, God damn, man. I tell you what, like old games are definitely where it's at, but man, modern games like this kind of transitions perfectly into something else I want to talk about. Um, Do you know about Concord, right?
Oh yes.
It's that. So for those of you who don't know, Sony released a hero shooter, and I want to say it's kind of like CS:GO, or at least the gameplay that I've seen, where it's like the 5v5. You start on the point, you're trying to put stuff, but I don't fucking know. Anyways, I just know it's a hero shooter. That's what I know.
Watch
Sony
Chrome.
put, what was it, $200 million into the game. They spent 8 years developing it, and
And it lasted for 2 weeks.
yeah, by the time this episode comes out, that game will have shut down, which is just insane to me.
I mean, at least they're giving refunds.
Yeah, they are giving refunds. I feel really bad for the team. I feel really bad for the development team that put that effort and that time into the game for it to flop that hard.
Years.
8 years. Imagine I can't imagine spending 8 years working on a project, putting forth all of this effort, putting forth all of this time, and your blood, sweat, tears, and your heart and soul and everything into this one project that you are like, this is gonna be the next whatever, this is gonna be the next Overwatch, or it's gonna be the next whatever, just for it to just fail like spectacularly. Holy shit, it failed in such a way that I don't think has ever been replicated. I can't think of another game that's failed that hard. And a
Was it
live
the day
service
after?
game. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. The day after. Well, the day after at least was up for about a month, wasn't it? Or am I wrong about that?
Maybe. I don't honestly know. I just remember everybody thinking it was a scam. They're like, nah, it's real. Here it is. And everybody's like, this game fucking blows. And they're like, you're right, we'll delete it. But for Concord, man, it is, you're right. It's crazy. But I almost have to wonder, when those developers and team and artists were working on that game, like, did they not see? Like, this looks to be the most generic shit.
Yeah.
And did not one of them open up Steam right now and look at the front page and see, oh, there's 6 other hero shooters?
Well, and here's the thing. I think competition is good. And I think it wasn't the wrong move to put out a hero shooter. I think, one, the marketing was fucking terrible. I don't think there was any marketing for the game.
The only marketing I ever heard about it was from like various like IGN and PC Gamer and stuff.
Yeah.
They would be like, this new game looks like shit. That was the news for it. That was the advertisement that I received of it.
Yeah. And then it didn't feel like there was any marketing. It didn't feel like there was any like push for the game. Like if it's like, if this is going to be your new IP, Sony, put that level of effort into it. Put that level of effort that says, hey, this is our new IP. We're very proud of it. We want to, push it to new people, and we want people to experience it. Here you go. But it felt like there was nothing like that. There was no effort put forward of like, hey, this is our new big, like, this is like God of War, or this is like, all of our other beautiful, amazing, this is our new Infamous. This is our new whatever. Like,
what if they did the ultimate switcheroo on us? Because I was reading Reddit and I remember seeing several comments. Like the post was, Concord will be shut down. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is the first I'm hearing of this game. What if they do the ultimate bait, get all these headlines for shutting down, and then next week they're like, you know what? We saw renewed interest. We're keeping it up.
You know what? It's interesting, but I don't think so. I think it's, because I think even then they'd be like, no, we're not gonna.
I guess unless there was a crazy amount of interest and people flooding in to play it, that wouldn't happen.
No, yeah. If there was some sort of campaign of like, oh, they're gonna shut this game down, let's all go and play it. No, what's happening now is people are running off of the map to.
I saw that.
Yeah, to end the rounds in the map, so that way they can go to max level. That's all. Just before the game is over. And it's crazy too, because they had like a 3-season roadmap, because it gives you match experience.
But why do you want to hit max level in a game that's going to be shut down at the end of the week?
Say you did it.
Just to say you did. Okay, more power to you, bud.
I honestly, I would, and I guess there's no way for us to even play it. I would have liked to even just try and see what the game is like. I think I'm the type of person who's not necessarily FOMO, but I would have liked to see what the game is like and just be like, oh, okay. All right. And I think that, man, they could have just made it free to play. They didn't have to, I don't think they had to shut it down. I bet if they had made it free to play and changed the model up, they probably would have, made some money back. Who knows?
So that's a Sony first party published game?
I think it was published, or I think it was developed by a different company, but it was published by Sony.
Okay.
I don't know who the developers. I don't know the team behind it.
Gotcha.
That's how much of a fuck I don't give about this game. It's just interesting to see that development cycle of 8 years of development with a 2-week like live period and then shut down. That to me is just that's insane.
I wonder what the difference is. I wonder what the difference is between that and something like Cyberpunk. Well, I guess Cyberpunk made millions and millions on release, but I was thinking of how it was
Cyberpunk
very poorly received at launch, but they didn't just delete it and refund it. They kept working on it. But I'm sure that game had so much hype behind it that just day one sales alone gave them enough money to continue working.
Yes. Cyberpunk also had CD Projekt Red as being an extremely... People knew that they were going to fix their fuck up, right? People knew that they were going to, in the end, make a solid product. I could be wrong about that, but at least that's what I thought. Because of their track record and because of the games that they had released previously, it was like, okay, they're going to do something with this. And they did.
Papa
And they fucking... Yeah, they fixed everything. I mean, Cyberpunk is an amazing game right now. If you've never played Cyberpunk 2077, go play it and then go buy the DLC and play through the DLC. And it's just a fantastic story in a beautiful world that's extremely immersive. There's really, it's an amazing experience. But when you first played the game, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, did you really?
Awful.
This is what you released? Holy shit! It's the exact same with No Man's Sky. Whereas if you go to No Man's Sky right now, they just released another major update. The game's been out for 10 years. They just today, and I mean today, as of our recording here on the 4th, they just released another update. It's a fully water-based update where you have now like fishing boats and fishing. They added new like aquatic creatures that you can fish. There's rare materials that you can get out of the water. There's diving suits that you can have so you can explore the water more vastly. Like, dude, they're still going, right? And
does that game have microtransactions?
No. Nope.
How are they still going?
So they do have they do have silver, which is for cosmetics. So they do have like cosmetics type stuff. But I mean, yeah, no, it's just new people buying the game. And also I want to say that they still made like a shitload of money from the game that they sold initially. And also when you get, I think there is some level of value with, once you have a game that you release and people go, this is dog shit, but it has potential. And then you let that potential live out and you actually show people, oh, this is a great game now. I think that probably boosts, you'll get a resurgence in sales when people go, oh yeah, this game actually is good. Have you played this recently? Like if you or I, kind of like word of mouth type of thing.
I think about Battlefield 2042.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that game's life cycle has been ridiculous to me and that it was so hyped. It comes out, everybody says, well, this is dog shit, stops playing. And then a couple years go by, maybe 2 or something, and then I see news articles left and right. Battlefield 2042 is good now, and then you check it, and the player numbers are ridiculously high again. And then it dies back out, and then I feel like I just saw another article or 2 recently. Battlefield 2042 is good. You should try it in 2024. So, like, somebody paying for these articles to get the...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's already, like, people will pay...
What?
Like, it's just...
You think we could call, like, IGN and have them review our podcast?
IGN.
We'll get that exposure.
IGN would... Well, what's funny is I did... this is something that I was going to talk to you about off stream, but it's interesting to talk about on stream. That there's a way that you can promote stuff on TikTok. I don't know if you can do it, like, on YouTube. I'm sure that there's some way that you could... Oh, well, no, I know that you can. You can get, like, basically ad space for videos where you're like, we could record an ad, pay YouTube, and it would play on YouTube videos. Now, with everyone that has fucking ad block on YouTube, probably not the best place. But you could do the same thing with like TikTok, where you can promote your content. You can pay real money, and you can pay like upwards of like $5,000 to $10,000 for like promotion for different periods of time and however many days you want and whatever.
I just put it on the corporate card.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I'll get Sarah on it right now.
Yeah, I'll talk to Sarah in accounting.
She'll we'll discuss it. Yeah. No, it's interesting, man, because I don't know, and I don't know all of the logistics behind how it works for you know, who's getting paid. Like obviously there's paid promotion. That's what it's called for
And they take a
news
percentage.
sources. Yeah, we'll get money for writing puff pieces on games, right? It's the same like IGN. I think makes a lot of their money from like they get paid copies, and there's obviously incentive to write as positive of a review as you can. Obviously, with some games, they're just fucking hot garbage, right? So you can't really write that positive of a review. But that's why, like, you can't. At least to me, I would trust like a smaller YouTuber versus or a smaller content creator versus like somebody who, you know, versus like an IGN or you know,
Yeah.
Metacritic or whatever, because they're just, you know.
I exclusively get my reviews from Video Game Donkey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God, I haven't watched Donkey in so long, man.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Super Mario Brothers 2. Damn, man. Ugh.
He's last I checked, he was still going. Is he still going?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was just at a I don't remember what convention he was just at. I saw him on Twitter. Just yeah, he's still making videos. I still get his notifications every now and then when he pops up. I don't think he's like putting out videos like he used to, but yeah, he's still going.
I saw on Spotify he had a podcast, and I think there was like 6 episodes or something. It was very short, but that really just sparked a thought in me.
Yeah.
Do we have more episodes than Video Game Donkey? Did
Do
we
we?
outlive Video Game Donkey's
Have
podcast?
we made it? Let's find out. I don't know. Well,
If so, he has
suck on that, Donkey.
10 episodes, dude.
Oh.
We'll get there. We're
We gotta
coming
get
for that
there.
ass,
We're
Donkey.
coming
And then we get to say we're bigger than Donkey.
Yeah, we made it longer. We outlived you. What's going on, Donkey? Oh my god. We used to be, I feel like our friend group used to be really obsessed with Video Game Donkey. Not so much anymore.
Dude, the ultimate Skyrim video, like, created our friendships and bonded us in blood.
I still think of his New Vegas video. His early Rocket League and Overwatch videos were so funny, dude.
Oh, dude, I still remember the oh god, what's he say? The downtown Dunkaroonie
Down,
cheese
Dunkaroonie, yeah.
dip something, dude.
Dude, we would quote those videos so much. The Halo, oh my god, the Halo series is still probably my all-time favorite series of his. Him
So
doing all the
good.
Halo games. Like a rundown of just like, here's what happens in all of the Halo games through the eyes of this fucking awesome, crazy person. Like, oh my god. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, so good, dude. Holy shit, man. They don't make
I'm
them
gonna have
like
to
they
go.
used to. They don't make them like they used to.
So the title of this episode is "Yearning for the Good Old Days." Clearly.
Something like that. Oh man, yeah.
So what else you got, man?
I mean, you know, I don't know. There's been a lot going on, but I've been watching these videos, man. We've been talking a lot about video games. I think I kind of want to stay on that subject. There is, and I think that we've kind of built the case that video games are extremely important to us, right? It's something that for me, especially, it's been an extreme beneficiary to my mental health. You know, going through like as I grew up, you know, getting bullied, having just kind of a rough time at it, you know, in my younger years, video games were always an escape. And for a lot of people now, that is still the case, so much so. And for some people, it's even more the case. You know, we go through times in life where shit just sucks, man. It's not cool. It's not fun. The world is a rough fucking place sometimes. And sometimes you need that escape. And some of the videos that I've been seeing that have actually been really bothering me is when people's partners really don't understand that, and let me give some context. So I watched a couple of videos, and mind you, I think that some of them are probably staged. Some of them I don't think were, where girlfriends will play pranks on their partners where they go on like their NCAA accounts, and they like delete
They act like they're gonna delete their save or something.
Their save, yeah.
I have seen that.
And the same thing, you know, or like they go on their NBA 2K and they'll delete their like my players, or how I don't really play 2K, I don't really play NCAA, but they basically delete your save. It's like saying that you went, like, for me it'd be like, if I put, you know, I've put, you know, what is it, 14, 15, 1600 hours into Rocket League. If somebody deleted my account where I have all of the money that I spent on there, or even like to go a step further, if someone were to delete my Steam account where the hundreds of games that I have, all of this, cloud save files, like all of the experience and levels and like everything that I have, if someone took that away from me, I would be crushed. I would be absolutely crushed. And I think what I wanted to sort of talk about was just how important it is to understand, like, when you have someone in your life, like if you're not a gamer and you have someone in your life that is, it is so important to respect that aspect of them. Like, respect people's hobbies. It's the same as like if you're into sewing and someone decides to rip apart something that you've spent hours on, or if you're into
You make
Legos and someone's painting,
somebody just throws it away or burns it.
yeah, like it's the exact same thing. It is a passion. It is a hobby. It is something. It is a skill that you can, develop over time. My journey with Deadlock right now is me just trying to fucking get better, and I've put 100 hours in that game already. Like, but I don't know. I wanted to know what your take is about that sort of thing. Have you ever really? I don't know. Have you ever experienced that? Like maybe because the same thing happens to parents and kids, where, a parent could come and say, well, I'm going to take this away from you, I'm going to take your console away from you, or I'm going to do whatever. What's your sort of experience with that sort of thing?
Totally a thing. When my son is fucking up or gets bad grade, doesn't do something that he should, etc., it's usually the first thing, like take the Switch away, PlayStation, computer games, whatever. But as far as, you really already said it. If your partner is a gamer, it is, clearly it's important to them. And especially if I'm using the example of a partner, because that's probably the nearest and dearest to me, but it's just a balancing act. If your partner wants to play games and they express to you it's important, this is my time. And another thing is the perspective on it. If you look at it as my boyfriend, girlfriend, etc., is just wasting their time playing Minecraft, but they're playing with their friends and they're socializing. And through that playing and socializing, they're also maybe not even purposely, but inadvertently discussing their day, discussing how they're feeling, what's going on in the back of their brain. And that's, I think, more therapeutic than people might recognize. I was thinking just last night, I was kind of having a shit night, and I saw the little Bubba Gump popped up on Rocket League, and I instantly sent a message, be there in 5. And we just started, hey, what's up? How's it going? Good. You, because we're men. We don't talk about our feelings. And then after a game or two, it's like, yeah, man, I was kind of dealing with some shit today. My car wouldn't start. I had to get a fucking battery. Life's hard. And that's, it's therapeutic, even though it does just it literally will start with a message from one of us. Let's smack some balls. That means let's play Rocket League.
And I think you said it best too, with the fact that it is a balancing act. And when you do have a partner,
yeah, because you can go the other way so easily. You can go too far the other way so easily.
You can, when I get very lost, I think especially early on in my relationship. So when I started role playing, I was role playing for like 18 hours a day. And that does not do good for a relationship, right? When you're focusing that much time, you're focusing that much energy, you have to understand, like, you need to find exactly what you said, a healthy balance of both, where you do have that time, you do have that moment of like, let me unplug from the real world and go into this virtual world and explore and just have fun with my friends. Or, I like single player games, so sometimes I'm playing stuff by myself, right? It's that exact same thing. And I'm fortunate enough, and I think you are as well, where we both have partners who play video games, so they get it. They completely understand what it's like to get lost in something and to get lost in that world. But I think you and I also have partners where they want to unplug from that world and they want to go out and explore, or they want to do stuff, or they want to be, spend time with us for some fucking weird reason. I don't know why. And I think that's important too. So finding that balance is extremely important. Like I said, I think you said that really well. Go ahead. Sorry. No, you're good.
I was going to say, just this past 2 weeks since we did our last recording, I'm really hyped for Final Fantasy 16 coming out here in a little bit. So I went back to play Final Fantasy 15. I had never played all the way through it. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been grinding on that bitch, dude, plowing through the game. And just a few nights ago, my wife came to me and she's like, can we spend some time together? You've been really focused. And here's the reason I bring this up, because it's like a key factor of, I had to in that moment recognize, like, oh fuck, she's right. I have been fucking staring at the Backstreet Boys here for the past 5 days in a row. Let's let's go watch some TV. Let's hang out. Let's do something together. Yeah. So I mean, it's a balancing act on both sides. The gamer has to recognize like I'm playing Minecraft for 24 hours straight. This is not exactly good for me.
Yeah.
And the non-gamer has to recognize, that's what they want to do. If anything, this gives me a chance to go do something I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or bigger W than even possible. You both game together.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And it's funny too, man, because I want for my girlfriend and I to play games together, but at the same time, we don't play the same shit, man.
Like, that's exactly the same with my wife. Yeah.
She right now, my girlfriend's super into this game called Palia. I just can't get it. It's very.
See a bunch of people playing that. I don't. What is it?
Sounds like
very, Pal World.
No, not at all. It's very much like if The Sims was an MMO, I guess is kind of the best way to put it. Where it's like, or I guess not necessarily Sims. If Harvest Moon were an MMO, where like you have a plot of land, you make your house, you go out and like max out all your life skills. I don't know. She's kind of
what, your friends come over and check out your pumpkins or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. She has her whole house and a nice garden, and she can decorate.
Cute. It's super
cute.
It's
super cute, dude. And like the level of detail in that game is kind of crazy. Like she actually showed me like the stuff that she's built, and she's put a lot of effort into it. It's kind of
she
crazy.
Has a real eye for design. I've seen really her art that she's done, and I've also played Minecraft with her, I think, before.
Mm-hmm. She likes having things be pretty, and it's why it's one of the things that, funnily enough, we disagree on with like, I guess like appliances and like her computer, especially like when I help her with her computer. I'm very much a practical person. I don't think that things need to be pretty. I don't think that things need to look nice. If it works, I love it, right? My computer is very simple. The only RGB I have in my computer is my graphics card. I didn't choose that. It was just the only one that was available. It was back when the 3080s were like non-existent. So that's the only RGB within my computer, right? The rest, I don't give a fuck as long as it works and I can play video games, okay? Even my desk has RGB in it. I don't use that.
Never.
I don't give a fuck. Okay. But she's like, I want things to be aesthetically pleasing. I want things to be nice. I want things to look so like without her, it's that she's that for me. Whereas I'm like but does it work? That's what I want to know. So it's kind of funny having that back and forth, but she's very much like I play The Sims and I play, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to grind Deadlock for 8 hours a day. Yeah. Palia. Yeah. So it's like, I know that
you and I are competitive. We want that competitive.
Yeah, I want people to hate me.
I want to ruin people's day. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh God. I was gonna say,
but for some reason we won't play Tarkov online anymore, which is like the #1 day ruining game.
Well, that's because our days got ruined too much.
True.
Our days got ruined way too much. So we're just gonna fuck these AIs up.
Dude, we did a bender. We're like, fuck you, I'll go play my own Tarkov server with blackjack and hookers.
Oh shit. That's really funny. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we're both extremely competitive, but we're like, fuck this competitive game. I don't want to play this shit. I want to play against bots.
That shit's not competitive. Those bots, man, those bots are real.
Yeah, those are people. We're fucking
Dude, Bird Eye, he'll pop your head.
He will. He'll fuck you up. And then, nothing left to do but Alt F4. For those of you who don't know, if you're playing the FICA SPT, if you Alt F4 out of a raid, it just gives you all your stuff back. It's like nothing ever happened. It's like you never died.
So it's like the private Tarkov server. Yeah, if you die, it does this cool thing where you go in like a camera mode. You can fly around the map.
Yeah.
If you press 8 or you press F8, it saves and ends the raid exactly like normal. But if you Alt F4 before you F8, nothing happened here. Nothing to see here, folks. Keep walking.
We took advantage of that a couple times, TJ and I.
I definitely had 1 or 2 rages where something stupid happened. Just like, no, fuck that. That's not my gear. Alt F4. Flipping off the monitor. The
justification, especially, is like the fact that some of the times the bots are just fucked, or there's just like wonky shit that can happen, and so at that point you're justified in being like, okay, maybe I'm not gonna, whatever. So
that's where you're wrong, kiddo. You're justified no matter what you do because we're playing fucking video games for fun. And we're
True.
playing on our own private server and we're not hurting
True.
anybody. We're happily having a good old time here. It's like the meme with the dude with the big thumb and he's like, okay, you're having fun. Yeah.
True. Oh man. Well, shit, man. You were talking about Final Fantasy 16, right? What are you
Yes.
looking forward to about that?
I don't know anything about it. All I know is
Oh,
it came out. It
what?
came out like a year ago on PS5, and I've refused to buy a
Oh,
PS5 this whole time. And like
uh,
several of my friends have told me it's amazing, it's great, you're gonna love it, and I've just been like, nope, no PS5 for me. But it comes out on the 17th. I think it comes out the day before our next recording, actually.
hell
So
yeah.
you're gonna get to hear all about it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, if you just want to hear Final Fantasy, I would love to talk about 15 for just a moment.
Sure. Let's hear it.
That game is goddamn ridiculous. It's fun most of the time. The storyline is kind of nonsensical. It's pretty stereotypical. The
That's
king has his duty, must fulfill his purpose type story.
okay.
But the only reason I want to talk about it all is I had intended to beat it before we recorded. Life gets in the way, but I swear to you, I'm like in the entryway to the final boss. And I had a session a couple nights ago where I was like, all right, I'm just going to go through this door and beat the final boss, and that'll be the end of it. And I go through that door, beat the boss, and there's like, psych, another boss. Okay,
Ugh.
cool. I beat him, and then it goes, psych, third boss. And that was like, fuck
Ah,
this, going to bed for the night. This game sucks.
fuck this.
But it's the
Hilarious.
first 2/3 of the game are mostly an open world, like exploring, finding new shit, doing side quests. And then the last third of the game, it just pigeonholes you, and it's like a very linear. You're just gonna keep kind of trudging
Mm,
through this path and keep trudging and keep trudging, and I keep kind of waiting for it to end.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the boss fights are cool. Some of the cinematics of the boss fights are so goddamn cool.
yeah.
But I'm at the point of like, all right, we've been trudging through this. You surprised me with 2 bosses. I swear, if you surprise me with another one, I'm alt F4, getting all my gear back. But ultimately, it's a pretty fun game.
Hell yeah.
Not terrible. By the way, some people talk about it like it's the worst in the series. I don't. It's enjoyable.
My only experience, I think we figured out. I played 13. Is that the one with lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played 13 for a day and then I returned it because this was I played it on PS3. I got it at GameStop, returned it the very next day because I realized that and my experience with Final Fantasy. So my this is going to be a really long-winded story and I'm sorry for that. But this is my only real experience and knowledge
Tell me about your
of
first experience.
my first experience of being introduced to Final Fantasy because I didn't have anybody around me that was playing the games. I didn't have anybody around me who knew anything about Final Fantasy until I went on a trip with my dad. So my dad used to work with the railroad, right? He used to work with these private business cars, and he used to bring me along when I was a kid. I got introduced to them. I ended up working for them for a while. That's a whole story for another time. But while I was there, I was probably 10 years old at this point in time. There was a guy who told me this, like, he told me this vivid story about this swordsman. And there was, he had this huge sword and, he had this girl that he was in love with, but she tragically gets killed. And so he's going through with his friends. He's
Mm,
going through this city and he's fighting all these people and he's trying to avenge his girlfriend and all this other stuff. Anyways, long story short,
that was
he was
Final
telling
Fantasy
me that it
VII.
was Final Fantasy VII. He was telling me the story of Final Fantasy VII. I was like, holy shit. Okay, that's crazy. Because the way that he told it to me, I mean, I don't do it justice. He told it to me like like he was narrating it. And it was
Like a
just so
storyteller.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah. It was so cool, man. And I was so enthralled. And it wasn't until later in life when I got to appreciate that sort of thing, where you can really appreciate the story that games can present to you. Which is why I mean, like, I'll dog on some games. Like, I don't like fucking Final Fantasy. I don't like most turn-based games except for like Pokemon. Um, but the one thing I won't ever dog on is somebody's enjoyment of a game, right? Unless you're like an Overwatch player, but I have reason to hate you for that.
Or a
Um,
League of Legends player.
if you're a fucking Destiny 2 player, right? Like those types of people, I can't fucking stand. But
It I was gonna say kind of what you just said is exactly how I feel about a lot of music. I
mm,
know some people in the world might think
yep,
I'm a bit of a metalhead elitist and only listen to metal, but I can definitely appreciate other things, and I can
yeah,
see like the work that went into it, the creativity, the talent. And I think you can say that about a lot of. It sounds like you're saying that about Final Fantasy.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there's good stuff there. It's just not for me.
Not for
Which
me.
the thing I always say, like, if you send me a random song, I'll review it and be like, "That's okay." Probably not gonna be jamming that on my car on my way to
Yeah,
work.
yeah. I'm the same way. Where you sent me a song recently, and I was like, I don't. This is cool, I guess.
Oh, was it Greyhaven?
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
Damn it,
okay,
they're so
it's.
good.
I was like, this is all right. I would, if you put it on, I would listen to it. I'm not gonna like change this. There's some
Yeah.
stuff like, there's some. My girlfriend and I have very opposite music interests. She's really into like industrial and stuff like that. And so anytime that she puts some of her music on, I'm like, I can't listen to this for that. If we're going on like a really long drive, if we're running into town or something, whatever, put your music on. I'm vibing. Um, if we're like on a 3 hour road trip, we have to like do it half and half. I can't just listen to your fucking music, you know? Oh God.
On
Anyways.
road trips, our system is 1 to 2 songs. Like I might pick one or two, and then she picks one or two. And then if the
Mm,
kid's in the car, he picks one or two.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I speaking of music, I need to send you some videos. Have you ever heard of Mark Anderson?
I don't think so.
Oh man, I need to send you some videos. It's really I put him in here as a topic for discussion, but there's really no way of um there's no way of really giving you the full experience without just showing you. Because what he does is he does covers. He does covers of songs, but he does them in his own like extremely unique way. There's really no other, and I kind of want to just leave it at that. I don't really want to expand on it because I want there to be some sort of like, if for anyone out there who's listening, go find Mark Anderson on YouTube or TikTok or wherever I'm pretty sure he might have an album on Spotify. I don't know. Go find Mark Anderson. Just listen and just be enthralled by his music because it's something else, man. I need to show you some.
Okay, what's like a good song or cover that he does?
Um, so a good one would be like 8 p.m. by Four Bats, I think is the guy's name. The song's called 8 p.m. And it's a very beautiful cover. I mean, it's really solid, really well done. Another cover that he's done covers of like, oh man, I'm like struggling to think of like anything that you can think of he's covered, right? Like he's covered a lot. And like it doesn't matter the genre of music. That's kind of, if that kind of makes a little bit more sense. He does every type of song and every song that you could think of in his own version, right? Where it's like it's
Okay.
his rendition and it's just so good. It's something unmatched, man. It's oh man. I had to mention him just because I love him so much, and I've been listening to a lot of his covers.
All
It's just
right, I'll
interesting.
need to dude, we could just make it like a segment here. You're gonna give me homework and I'll report back next episode.
Yes,
I
I
think I
go
always
listen to some
forget.
Mark Anderson. I'll find some videos and send them to you. They're really good. It's just
Okay.
something that's very because I'll try and find because he's covered some like older hip hop that you might know or something like that. Um, and oh man, it's something else. It's I just saw a video of his today, man, and it was really funny. But I can't. It's one of those things where like now that I've brought it up, I can't think of anything. Like I can't think of
All
the
right.
specifics. You know what I mean? I can think of them all in my head, and but I can't really think of them. It's the same way with like I was gonna bring up this other guy, Pablo Skywalken, who
I saw
he's
that name. That's such a good
yeah,
name.
it's such a good name. So he's a rapper. But I don't really listen to his rap. But he does this thing that I just find really interesting, and this kind of goes more into like I guess something that I wanted to talk about, which is just like interesting and weird kind of content creators that I've been into lately. He goes into this thing where he just like is in a public library and he says really meaningful shit. And that's like his whole thing, but he says it in such a way, man. I
Is he
can't
like
put my phone up.
whispering to make a video in the
No,
library?
no, he's just talking, but he says like really weirdly introspective shit that you're like, what the fuck? Why did you just say that? Like, oh man, he said some shit like, um, if you have like this is one that I remember. If you have more than two kids by uh if you have two kids by two different men, don't vote because you're gonna choose the wrong man again. Like that type of shit where it's like it's just
Stupid.
really goofy, stupid shit, but it's also like weirdly introspective for some weird reason. It's just I don't know.
Okay,
It's
so
funny, but
it sounds like the total polar opposite of Dracula Flow.
it is. It is where it's very and it's all like one liner type shit. Yeah,
Dude,
Dracula Flow is more like
I
ongoing. Oh man,
absolutely love to show people Dracula Flow who have never seen it because every
yeah,
human has the exact same reaction. They're
this
like,
shit
"What the
ain't
fuck?"
nothing to me,
Okay,
man.
this is kind of funny. They go through like a rhythm. It's like, "What the fuck? This is kind of funny. How long does this go on? Oh my god, is this 8 fucking minutes?"
Yeah,
But dude,
for
his
sure.
best line, "This Zaza so good, it's fucking up my circadian rhythm." That line. Oh, shit
This
don't
shit
mean
ain't
nothing to me,
nothing to me,
man.
man. Oh, dude, so good, so
It's
good.
so
Yeah,
bad, but it's so good.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely that same sort of level of just like this is fucking weird, but I love this. It's that same sort of shit. It's that same sort of shit. Same with like so the other guy that I've been watching, he who does longer form content. It's this guy, which by the way, this guy Jacob fucking Jones, that's his real name on YouTube. Like that's his YouTube handle. He has like a couple 100,000 subscribers, but it's yeah, Jacob
How
fucking
does he get away
Jones.
with that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, but he does. I know that he's not monetized. Like I don't think that his any of his shit is monetized because what he does tobacco reviews.
That might also be problematic.
Why?
I don't know. People don't like cigarettes, tobacco.
I don't smoke, but it's just very interesting to watch somebody who's just like I mean, here's the thing. It's like it's for me it's more so that like I get interested in when people are interested in stuff. And the way that he presents things like it's like he's like one of those guys in the 50s that's like smoking is so cool. And it's like but he also like he's very upfront about like I know this is a bad habit. I know this is bad for me. I'm very well aware of that but I'm gonna do it regardless because
Yep.
it's my choice, right? Like, and that's I don't know. It's just it's interesting to see. It's one of those things that like the whole point of me even talking about it, which is like it's just weird shit that I've come across on the internet that I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this hour-long video of him talking about like I think he has a whole series of day drinking and smoking cigarettes. That's literally like at a specific time. I think one of his videos is like day drinking and smoking cigarettes at 3 p.m. And it's
And he
like,
just
what the
sits there
fuck?
and talks.
Yeah, he just talks and smokes a
Okay,
couple cigarettes,
so
and he smokes like two or three, or not two or three. He smokes like 3 or 4 cigarettes, and like has a drink, like in his
okay, I
backyard.
mean that doesn't sound that like far away from the Henny Queen.
Yeah, okay,
And
it's kind of a
also, if you think about
similar.
it, right before we started recording, we were talking about what if one of us did a solo podcast, and I thought that was weird, but it's basically what he's doing.
Yeah, it kind of, and he's very vocal, so he talks a lot. He expresses everything. He's very verbal diarrhea, where he's expressing everything that's going through his mind, all of the things that he's sort of thinking about. Because like he'll do reviews on tobacco and things like that, and it's all tobacco products. It's like he'll do cigars, he'll do pipe tobacco, he'll do cigarettes, he'll do all these sorts of things. Which again, to me, like I haven't smoked in fuck like 9 years, 8 9 years, like regularly, I should say. And so, but it's just very interesting to like find somebody who has that level of interest in something. You know, I don't know, very
I
weird,
mean,
but it's
you're
cool, I
expressing
guess.
that level of interest in these people with weird interests.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
all have our thing.
yeah. I and I don't.
Dude, sometimes to this day, walking by like a person smoking a cigarette, I get a whiff. I'm like, oh, I could go back. I could go back right now.
Every time I drink, every time I have any alcohol, I'm like, man, I need a cigarette. Oh God,
Dude,
like
it's just a shame that cigarettes are so bad for you.
dude, yeah, and they're so
But
bad
they
for everyone
make you
around
look
you.
so cool.
Yeah. No, they don't. The fuck. We do not endorse smoking cigarettes. It's bad for you. It's not
I wouldn't
good.
recommend it.
It's not. Yeah, I just felt like shit when I was smoking cigarettes, man. It was you just it makes
It
you
just
smell
made you
gross.
stinky.
Yeah, You coughing all the time and shit. It's expensive. Fuck, it's expensive, especially nowadays. Holy shit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I
Yearning for the good old days. Here we go again.
think
Cheap cigarettes and cheap beer.
cheap cigarettes, cheap beer. Give me
Even
your
the cost of
fucking.
hookers went up.
Oh shit! Yeah, damn. Oh fuck. That's
I feel like we've
fucking
been
good.
extra southern on this episode for some
Yeah.
reason. We keep doing that voice.
I don't know.
I'm just going with my heart here, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was one of the things about role playing in a setting where everyone is acting southern. It was super easy for me to do, and people always would be like, "Your accent's so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's like
Been
in my
working
blood."
on it my whole life.
Oh man, yeah. I worked on. It's funny because I worked on removing it from my speech, and like I remember I was probably 11 or 12, and I went up to visit some cousins in Washington, and they kept making fun of me for saying y'all.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, and that at that point I was like, I need to fix my speech and how I talk and the way that I present myself. And now I don't think
start
anyone
talking
can...
more good.
Yeah. Gotta start talking more good. I tell you what. Yeah, no, I definitely
How's that
was
going for you now?
scarred by that. It's not well. I'm still pretty dog shit at talking in general.
Let me tell y'all what.
Tell y'all what. Yeah. Howdy y'all. How y'all doing? Yeah.
Dude, it's so hard in like in a business environment. Everybody, or like my business at least, everybody says y'all all the time, and I wonder, like, is it weird when we're talking to the rest of our like associates and other buildings around the world, and they're sending out emails, "Hey y'all."
Oh, they do. See, okay, that's one thing I don't do y'all in emails, but like if I'm doing it within like like if I type, I'll type y'all out. Like if I'm typing, what are y'all doing or whatever. But like in an email, hell no.
That's what I'm saying. I found it so weird. I found it so weird when I first started this company. Just everybody saying y'all all the time. So I'm like, oh, make life easier.
Man, whatever. Okay, why not?
It's a lot easier to address the team. Hey, y'all fuckers.
Hey, y'all fuckers. Hey, you fuckers. That's good. What's up, fuckers? That's what I think of is that kid. Did you ever see that video? That kid walking through the door, like, this is how I walk into my best friend's house, and he like kicks the door up and goes, "What's up, fuckers?" No,
it's vaguely ringing a bell. Does something bad happen after that?
No. It's like an old Vine. I think it's pretty good though. It's like it's one. It's like only 7 seconds. But
when you described that to me, I was picturing it as one of those where like all of a sudden the mom just stands up and takes her shoe off or something.
What the fuck did you just say? Yeah. Oh man, I'm sure there's a video out there similar to that sort of thing, right? Oh man, but speaking of the other thing that I wanted to talk about is do you know who Rodney Mullen is?
The skater?
Yeah. I guess how obviously you spent time at skate parks. How did you skated for a long time or what?
I mean, I could never
did you skate?
I skated, but I could never do anything cool. I just kind of rolled around and hung out.
Okay.
And hurt myself occasionally.
Yeah. How long did you skate for?
Probably middle school through high school.
Oh yeah. Damn. Okay. See, this is one of those things that like I guess I didn't really know. Like you playing guitar. I had no clue that you played guitar until we started this podcast. Same with like I didn't know that you skated until we started this podcast. Because like I
didn't know that you also lived on a cul-de-sac until today. We're learning new things.
Learning new things. Oh man. Yeah, I never skated. I rollerbladed. I never was on a skateboard. Because the first time I got on a skateboard, I fell and was like, that's not for me. That's not for me.
This apparatus would be better directly strapped to my feet.
Well, I played like roller hockey and shit like that when I was a kid. And I don't know. I was better. I was much better. I think once I was figured out that I was better at skating than I was, or rollerblading than I was at skateboarding, I was like, I'm going to go with this, right? Like this just makes more sense to me. But the reason that I brought Rodney Mullen up is because I was just, that's another person that I was like, I've been getting really invested into of like, when I've been a fan of his for a really long time. I don't know if you've ever heard him like speak about, like, he created the kickflip, right?
No.
What?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. He apparently, he created the kickflip He created what we call the ollie. Like he created so many like skateboarding tricks. He's basically
Holy
like the
shit.
godfather of skateboarding.
And Tony Hawk gets all this credit.
Well, he gets all the credit for making skateboarding popular, right? For popularizing it. And also, I mean, he's the first person to do the 900 and things like that. So he is, you know, within his own right, a part of what skateboarding is now. But Rodney Mullen, I think, is kind of the person that, to me, is much more interesting because of his passion. And he's talked a lot about, you know, the sacrifices that he's made to, you know, fulfill his passions and to do what he's done for skateboarding, right? Like he knows it's taken a lot. And I think that, again, it goes back towards like the whole, I like people who are interested in shit. You know what I mean? That if you're interested in something, you can drag my interest into it, right? And he is kind of the ultimate person of like, I love skateboarding and I'm going to tell you everything about it, right?
Is he like on YouTube these days, or what? Where are you getting this
No,
info?
it's mostly, so he did a TED talk. He's done various interviews, and it's a lot of stories about him, right? Like the story that I was watching, or the interview that I was watching, was Tony Hawk talking about him doing the first kickflip, and how it really just like blew everyone. They called it the magic flip, is what he said, because they were like, they didn't know how the fuck he did it. Like the first time that he did it, like he did an actual kickflip, they're like, we have no idea what you just did on that board.
That's exactly. I was getting this mental image. I'm thinking even back in middle school. I mean, kickflips and ollies and X Games and everything else was already a thing.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, imagine it's like caveman seeing fire for the first time. What was that?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And that was one thing, like diving into that. And obviously, I still have a lot more to dive into, but just seeing the surface level of that and what he's done for that sport is just really interesting to me, man. Like there's a lot of really interesting and cool people out there, but he's one of those that really sparks my interest. Like I have a great appreciation for Rodney Mullen and what he has done for skateboarding and all, and like just even watching him skate, it's insane. Some of the shit that he does. For those of you who are listening, if you've never watched or seen Rodney Mullen skate, go out, watch it. It's fucking nuts.
I mean, you probably don't have to go out. Just hit pause, open a new tab.
Yeah, there you go.
But make sure you come back here.
Make sure you
like
come
and subscribe,
back here.
please. Love you.
Please, God, please. Start sounding desperate. No, it's super interesting, man. I don't know.
Travis Pastrana, kind of in that same era, they feel a little connected in my mind, dude. He's still to this day, he still does so much cool shit.
Is he one of the?
He started off, I believe, on motocross.
Okay.
He ended up doing rally racing. I want to say he was on the fucking not The Voice. He was on like America's Got Talent. I think America's Got Talent. That's what it was.
Really?
That's one of the judges. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I've seen a documentary too about him. He's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of like you said, like just passionate about doing crazy shit. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so wild, man. I don't.
You kind of sparked a thought in me just now of like, I love to know things about bands that I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I find a new band and I'm loving their music, I want to read more, learn more, watch any documentaries or anything they have, because you're not going to find somebody in a metal band that's not crazy passionate about metal and their fans and making this music. And it kind of just clicked with me. Like maybe that's at least a part of what draws me into that so much. And I always, I want to know like what did he mean when he wrote these lyrics and things like that. And it's just because a lot of passion goes behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Drags me in.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think there is something to be said about passionate people drawing other passionate people into their passions, right? Because there's a lot of stuff, man, that I would never be interested in, but because people speak so passionately about it, like I could listen to fucking documentaries about, metal bands or the creation of different metal music or just anything. I mean, you could replace that topic with anything as long as you're talking to me with passion and talking to me with knowledge and informing me in a way that makes me go, oh shit, that's cool. I never knew that. Like that's a whole other, level of just fucking cool. Like to me, that's the coolest shit ever. If you can do that.
Dude, I could send you a badass Parkway Drive documentary about like some of the early days of the band. Fuck. Yeah. Oh, dude, I should save that for our next deep dive.
Yeah.
Dude, some of the crazy shit they did at the early days of their band.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'll give you a little sneak peek. The band gets their very first tour ever They like a out of country tour because they're based in they were born in Australia.
Okay.
They get their very first tour. They go to Europe. After like a couple shows, their bassist is like, guys, this isn't for me. Peace. I'm going home. So they just call up their old buddy who used to live down the street from them. They're like, hey, we need you to learn bass and get to Germany fast as fuck. And he's still in the band to this fucking day. So good, dude.
Oh, shit. That is good. What the fuck? Hey, learn bass quick.
And
Please,
get to fucking
God.
Germany or like
Germany.
somewhere in Europe.
Oh man, that's wild. That's crazy. Yeah, that reminds me of AC/DC. Like when Bon Scott, the original lead singer, died, and they were looking for a lead singer, they found Brian Johnson, and they had only met Brian Johnson like one time before while they were on tour in the UK. And it was like one show that he just made a solid enough impression of him or on the band. And they were like, they brought him in. They called him and were like, hey, it was the team that was working with AC/DC. They were like, and they had, I guess to give a little context, they had just released Highway to Hell, which was like their biggest album to date. This is in 79. Yeah. Bon Scott dies. And so 1980, they're like, hey, we need a new singer. We don't want the band to end. We want to keep going. And they call Brian Johnson up, and Brian Johnson's like, you're not fucking AC/DC, whatever. And like, they finally convince him, like, hey, you are. If you can, we need you to show up. We know that you're working just like a regular old job because, he was just doing his own thing. Like he was, small time musician. They're like, hey, we want you to come and just sing a couple songs. And so they sang, he drove out like on a whim. It was like a total, like, I think it was like a, couple hour drive for him, total on a whim sort of thing. Sang a couple songs, left, didn't hear from them. And they called him and they were like, hey, do you want to be an AC/DC? And then they fly out to like, it was like the Bahamas or some shit. They fly out to some islands, right? Or maybe it was Greenland. I don't remember where the fuck. They flew to some secluded place, wrote Back in Black in 6 weeks. That whole album, one of the greatest albums that they've released, which like back to back, they released 2 of their most fantastic albums, which was Highway to Hell and then Back in Black with 2 different singers. Released that album in 6 weeks. And then he's just a staple of the band ever since. He is still touring with them to this day.
How do those guys do it, man? Some days I wake up and feel tired. They're like fucking 70 touring the world and playing shows every night.
Dude, yeah. Holy shit.
It's the passion. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
They got that passion that gets them out of bed.
Absolutely.
I ain't passionate about waking up and helping people reset their Outlook passwords. Not nearly as passionate as my boss thinks, at least.
Shit. That's fucking good. Oh, man. Well, shit, man. I wanted to talk about like the Whitest Kids You Know, the Buckerson and Myers thing, but I don't know if we really have time to drone on about that.
You know what? I want to know why you put a note of the Nemesis system in Shadow of War.
Oh man, so what I didn't know about this, and I don't know if you knew about this.
You never played that game?
No, I did. No. I played through Shadow of War. I played through Shadow of Mordor, which is the first one.
I never played the second one. I only played the first.
Okay, so you played through Shadow of Mordor. Gotcha. Shadow of War was more of the same. They expanded upon it a little bit, or a lot of it. It was good. It had its issues. That's not really what I want to talk about. Did you know? This is something that I didn't know, that they actually weren't, that the original Nemesis system was meant for a Batman game. It was not meant for a Lord of the Rings game. And so
I want to say I vaguely might have heard something about this, but go on.
This is something that I didn't know, that I only recently found out about, that a friend of mine was telling me about, the fact that initially it was supposed to be that you would basically fight criminals at like different tiers. And then if they beat you, it was like, I beat the Batman. And it's like, it became this whole thing of like, and just to think like, this is one of the things like what could have been, right?
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
What could have been like, oh man, it would have been so cool to get like thinking about the most recent DC games that we've been getting, like the Suicide Squad kills the whatever, the Justice League, yeah, or like the new Batman game that's coming out. It's going to be a VR exclusive, which no one fucking wants. No one wants
Oh,
that shit.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah, the
Is
new
it still made
Arkham.
by the same
I believe
uh,
so.
devs?
Rocksteady. I don't know if it's Rocksteady that's going to be doing it.
Mm.
But the idea that the new game within the Arkham series is going to be a VR exclusive is just fucking stupid. Anyways, but the other thing is like, what could have been? How did they decide against that? Because holy shit, imagine how fucking cool of a game that would have been. Holy
I
shit!
wonder
Like,
why nobody else has done anything with that system, because that
no,
system was so goddamn cool.
so cool. The Nemesis system
It
is, and I don't know if maybe it's hard to use or something. I don't know.
is the second game better, or did you have the same experience I did when I was playing through the first game, where the Nemesis system was so cool, dude? I loved it. Like the same motherfucker show up again, like, oh, you want some more, old man, basically. But but then at some point towards the late game, you would get like 3 of your nemesises all show up at once while you're trying to do your mission. It's just like, fuck off, guys. Man's got to work.
That did happen, but you had the ability to basically run away. The thing that I struggled with the second game was when you had to fight, like let's say you had to fight, because the way that they had it, I don't remember if they had it in the first game, where you have the big like capitals or the big like fortresses that you have to take.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you have to like, implant your guys within the fortress, right? And like they slowly, like whenever you're invading the fortress, I don't know if this was a thing in the first one, but anyways, there's the fortress system within the game, right? And you have to fight your way through the fortress, and if you did everything right, you spent all this time putting all of your people in place, right? You put all of your minions in positions of power within this fortress, and you fight through, and you get to the main guy, right? And you fight him, and if you lose all of that progress.
Like every guy comes back.
Yeah, he's stronger, and you lose all of the people that you put into power, and you have to do that all over again. Fucking
sounds like
man.
A good time to Alt F4.
Yeah. It was funny because I had done that. I picked the game up again earlier this year, I want to say, and I was playing. Man, I was having such a good time. I was like, man, this is so cool. Like I forgot how cool this game was, and I was like, man, why did I ever quit this game? And then I remembered that's why I quit it, because it's bullshit. Oh my god, it's so fucking annoying. Ugh. Anyways,
and what other game could you use such a system in?
I mean, you could do it in a Batman game. I feel like you could do it. You could make your own game. Like it doesn't have to be in a world. Like I think the Nemesis system would have been really cool in like an original IP. I don't think it had to be within
Shadow of War the first one? No, Shadow of Mordor was the first one.
That was the first one.
I mean, it more or less it was not a unique world, but it was a unique thing at the time. At least it was a new IP.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking, like, when you say like it could have been in a Batman game, like if it's the Joker repeatedly gets stronger and comes back trying to beat your ass, that would have so much appeal, I think, to an audience.
Yeah.
Versus, I made a new game, The Land of Whatever, and you play as the main character Jim, and Bob keeps coming to attack you repeatedly. It's not nearly as cool.
I think it would actually work as like like you're in the universe of like DC or Marvel or whatever, where where you're a new hero and you're sort of making your own name, and you're fighting, because the idea is that the criminals are the ones that come back, and they like you beat them, right? And you kind of find these crime rings and you break them down. And then if they beat you, then they get stronger. They get more reputation within the streets. Yeah. They get into higher positions of power because they beat the Batman, right? And so that's kind of the thing that I
like. The idea of like Batman beats someone, they go to prison for a while, then they come back stronger and pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not killing anybody, so you could reuse different criminals. Like, I just got out, Batman, and the idea that they could use like the gimmick system too, where like how like in Shadow of War, all the different characters have like their own like weird little gimmicks.
Yeah,
you could totally do that too. Like the John the Escaping, where it's like he always, like, right when you get into low health, he always escapes, like right at the end, or is going to try and run away. Yeah. Trash talking Tony, like he's gonna sit there and trash talk you the whole time. Like, you think this punch hurts me? Bats, just stuff like that. I think that would have been a really cool game.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, what could have been?
I mean, at least we got to experience it.
Yeah, and
I wonder
again,
if
and
they'll ever
I
do
don't
anything
know.
else with that series or that system.
I don't know. I hope they do something more with the Nemesis system. Is one of those systems that I think is very. You're right. It's very underutilized. There's not.
Honestly, that was the selling point of the game for me. I think back to, because I
Yeah,
think I played it around launch. I vaguely remember you're like a half ghost guy running around. I don't know, trying to get your body back or some shit.
you're a human who has been. I want to say that you've been killed, or and your family's been killed by orcs, and you're basically like looking for vengeance. Right? It's a story of vengeance, just like every other one. The story is
Yeah.
kind of whatever.
So I don't remember the story. I
But
don't
he's
really remember
you get
anything besides the Nemesis system.
you get like possessed by a ghost, or like he's in your body somehow, and it's one of the
Oh yeah,
guys
isn't
who
he like?
worked. He worked on the One Ring. He helped work. He helped make the One Ring. Is
And
kind
you
of
have
his
like
whole
the
thing.
ghost talking shit to you the whole game, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's an asshole. It's hilarious. So he's fucking Celebrimbor is his name. Fuck that guy. I don't even
Man,
remember
you
the
just
main
pulled
character's
that right
name.
out. I don't remember the main character. I remember the asshole that talked shit the whole game.
Celebrimbor is a fucking cool fucking name.
Dude, goddamn it, you've sparked it. At the end of the like right at the ending of Final Fantasy 15, the main enemy guy, he's forcing you to go through this long series of kind of linear tunnels, and he's just running his mouth the whole time. And then there was one point where I did legitimately get turned around, and I walk and I'm like, oh, I've fucking been here before. And I turn around, and he goes, oh, did you seriously get lost in there? And I'm like, you sack of shit.
That's quality game design right there. That is quality game design. When a character, when a not real computer generated fucking character can hit you so
antagonize
deeply
you like that.
Oh man, yeah, that's good shit right there. Ugh,
Maybe after we wrap this up, I'll go finish that game off.
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. I'm probably gonna go play. We'll start to wrap up here, but I am probably end up gonna go play more Deadlock, man. That game. Oh my
You
god.
are dead locked in.
Yeah, I am. I really am. I've put 100 hours into the game, and it hasn't. Well, the thing that is, it's been out for the private game has been out for, or been in a private playtest for a couple months now, which I didn't realize, because there's people who've been playing the game for like 3-4 months now at this point. But for those of you who don't know, and now we can actually talk about it. Like I wanted to talk about it in the last episode. We weren't really allowed to. You weren't supposed to talk about it.
Even though everybody was.
Everybody was talking about it. But yeah, now we can talk freely. Holy shit. Valve's new MOBA. It's a mix of a MOBA and a hero shooter. It's more of a MOBA than a hero shooter. But holy shit, man. It is. I've never liked MOBAs. I have never once in my entire life been like, man, I like this MOBA. Never once. I fucking hate MOBAs. This one I
Give
love.
it time.
I like.
Give it time.
Well, I tried playing League. I never really tried Dota because I was like, I tried playing Smite. Never.
Pretty fun.
I never once got into those. This one, I'm like, I'm like 100 hours in, and I'm like, it's the same feeling as when I first started playing Overwatch, or like when I first started playing Rocket League, which are two games that I've put well over 1,500 hours into. Right?
Is it that the game provides you a sense of it is a noticeable sense of self-improvement as you play?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's an addictive feeling.
Yeah. Wanting to get better, wanting to progress, wanting to learn. Like that's the thing too, is like I've been streaming the game on my Twitch channel, and it's one of those things that I've been getting pissed off at the game because I'm like, fuck this, there's bullshit. There's CC and fucking whatever.
I've heard you on Discord once or twice, and I'm like, yeah, you don't sound like you're having fun right now, buddy.
There's been a couple times where I'm like, this fucking game sucks. But there's that but it's my fault. When shit happens in a game, it's like, that's not my fault. That's the game just being bullshit. That's one thing. But like me getting caught out and ganked in a place where I clearly shouldn't be, like just I'm way out of position. I shouldn't be there, and I got my ass kicked for it.
I think that's what keeps drawing me back to Rocket League forever and ever. Just every single game I have opportunities to say like, I should not have hesitated right there. Oh, I
Yeah.
should have waited.
Yeah. Yeah. You find, and I think that that's what makes gaming and especially beautiful, where you can find ways to improve. Like once you get the best, like I would never want to be the best at a video game. I can't imagine. Obviously that's an achievement in and of itself, and I'm not discrediting that at all. But not having the ability to improve, or like being at the peak and like there's nothing else to do, that's got to be so like empty, you know?
Yeah, dude, it's like when I was playing really hardcore on a Honeycam Studio, man. I got the platinum cock and I got every achievement in the game, and it's like I'm at the top, I'm at the peak here. Where do I go now?
Holy shit, that is fucking great.
I really do have every achievement. That game was kind of fun.
That's fucking good. Oh my god. Honeycam Studio. Fuck, I forgot that game even existed. Honey Pop was such a good game. We're not gonna get into that. God damn it.
You want to talk about Hentai University before we wrap up?
Oh god, no.
Dude,
no.
I have we have a friend who likes to send troll games, and that's how I end up. I literally own Hentai University. But I learned the other day that I have 2 separate titles in my Steam library that are both called Pussy. One has an exclamation mark, and one doesn't.
So when they come out with the third game, it'll be Pussy with 2 exclamation marks, right?
Shit, maybe it's already out and I missed it.
Dude, gotta check for
I have to have
updates.
those hidden. I don't want y'all to judge my hours played on those, you know?
I don't have my Honey Pop hours hidden. Fuck it. You can see. You can see how many hours I'm putting in. If Honey Pop 3 ever comes out, I'm playing the shit out of it. I don't give a fuck.
Hey man, you do you. No judgment.
That's
Just saying, like, that sounds okay, and I respect the art and the work that went into it, but I'm not jamming that in my car.
Dude, what are you talking about? The Honey Pop soundtrack is so good, dude.
Is it really?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love the Honey Pop 1. The soundtrack is a fucking bop, dude. It's actually legitimately really good.
I wasn't expecting that, so all right, I'll have to check it out.
There you go. There you go. Some new music to listen to.
Let me add that to my homework sheet for next episode.
Mark Anderson, Honey Pop soundtrack.
Honey Pop soundtrack. All right.
There you go.
I'll bring back with a lengthy, detailed review.
All right. Well, we'll see it, and we would love to fucking sit here and talk about Honey Pop and other adult games that we're playing, but I think that was time well spent. I have been dialed in to this drama.
Talk Tuah.